If you'll please rise, we have the Belmont Navy JROTC to present the colors for us and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Colors. Halt. Left. Base. Right step. March. Colors. Halt. Present. Colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry. Colors. Left. Base. Forward. March. Colors. Halt. Ball out.
Please be seated. I'd like to first thank the Belmont Navy Junior ROTC unit for being here this morning, as well as the Thurgood Marshall High School Jazz Band, who played for us and who will play for us at the closing as well. So thank you for being here today with us. I'm Elizabeth Lawley, Superintendent of the Dayton Public Schools, and it's my honor to introduce to you some distinguished guests before we get started. First of all, I'd like to introduce Board President Will Smith. Board Member Dr. Krishanda Goodwine. Board Member Joe Lacey. Board Member Karen Wick-Gagne. Executive Director of Athletics, Victoria Jones. I'd like to introduce the President of Kettering Health Network, Wally Sackett. Dr. Paul Benson from the University of Dayton, he's the provost there. Mayor Jeff Mims. And I'd like to also introduce Carolyn Rice, our Montgomery County Commissioner. And I'd like to introduce John McManus, our County Recorder. Treasurer. Sorry, John. I know him as a board member, so. And I'd also like to introduce our Dayton Public School District cabinet members. If you're a cabinet member, would you please stand up? This is the leadership team in Dayton Public Schools. We have a variety of our high school and middle school and elementary principals here today as well, and our assistant principals. Would you please stand up if you're a member of the administrative team? And we have a large number, as you can tell, of students and their coaches here today, and or their directors here today. So if you will give a round of applause for the amazing students of the Dayton Public Schools and the coaches that are here. Thank you. I'd like to introduce the team that has worked together with us to create the plan, to go through and look at everything that had to be taken care of here in the Welcome Stadium, both underneath the stadium and outside of the stadium. And it's been, we've been working on this for several months, and the renderings are over there so you can see those renderings, and you can see that we have a great project ahead of us. I'd like to first introduce Curtis Ellswick from Skanska, and Bill Baker from MSA Design. And I'd like to introduce, thank you. And I'd like to introduce the whole SHIP team, because you've got a whole crew. So if you'll just please stand up. The SHIP team is here as well. And then the internal team included Rick Rayford, Andrew Mestrino, Karen Wick-Onier, Will Smith, Victoria Jones, and Sam Hurwitz, who is not here today. So, and I would be remiss in not introducing the directors that are part of the administrative team for the central office at the Dayton Public Schools. If you're a director, would you raise your hand? We have Dr. Worley here, we have Dr. Gale here. So thank you all for being here today. And Vice President of the Board of Education, Jocelyn Reinert, is also joining us. So thank you for being here. Today is a very special day for the Dayton Public Schools and for the Dayton community. Dayton Public Schools has a rich athletic history, as you can see from just a small portion of the historical display that we have to my left. Since 1945, Welcome Stadium has served as a beacon leading into the city of Dayton. Many athletes have won and lost games, meets, and competitions of various kinds in the stadium's grand walls. The stadium has been the location for many state competitions, local competitions, and events, as well as a gathering place for this community. The stadium has stood the test of time. Today marks the beginning of a renovation that will bring the stadium to a standard that has not been seen in this area for several years. The revisioning of Welcome Stadium with the addition of a field house and a new press box, as well as a total renovation of each section of the stadium, will breathe new life into the athletic department, the school district, and the community at large. We are proud to stand before you today to officially begin the work that has been long awaited for the stadium and our students and our community. Thank you for being here today and being part of this historic event. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our board president, Will Smith.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're here for something bigger than that. Can I get a better good morning?
Good morning.
I'm just happy to see everybody here. I really am. The first thing I want everybody to do is really turn around and look behind you and see all of these children. That's what we're here for.
That's right.
Everything that we've done, everything that we put into all of these renderings that you see is for them. From the wee lions all the way up. They're the children that'll be out here. They're the children that we will be rooting for out here. They're the children that will be cheering out here. They're the children that will be out here cheering on their classmates. This is for them. And so I'm glad that so many of them are out here, because it's time that we have to understand that our future is now, and we have to put into our future. And as we speak of that, we look at a place like this at Welcome Stadium that is over 70 years old. And this place has held so many memories for people. It's that place where people not only grew up at, they watched their children play. They watched their fathers and mothers participate in athletics here. But not only that, it's part of our community. And that's why when we went into this project, we said, how can we make this honor our past as well as pour into our future? So one of the things that we thought of doing is really turning this place into a living museum. So one of the things that we'll have here is a DPS Athletic Hall of Fame. Something that has not been done in Dayton in the history of Dayton Public Schools athletics. And one of the people that I do want to lift up right now, because in the spirit of this Hall of Fame, is honoring our elders, honoring our people, and giving them their flowers while they can still smell them. So right now I would like Coach Tom Montgomery to stand, and I would like us to give him a round of applause. Coach Montgomery Coach is someone that I lean on for advice. I talk to about things because he has a wealth of knowledge. He's coached in this district in parts of 3 decades. He was able to coach people's children, their children, their children. He's been around. This district is built on the backs of people like Coach Montgomery. We all come up from that, and so our Hall of Fame and what we want to do here is to honor people like that. Our children need to see that. Our children need to know that we have a lineage that includes people that have been Olympians like Edwin C. Moses and Tanya Buford Bailey. We have the best third baseman in the history of Major League Baseball and Mike Schmidt. You have people like Keith Byers that have been here. You have people that have been in the World Series. You have people that have been in NBA Finals. And our children need to see the greatness that they come from. And not only that, it's not just going on and being great in athletics, but Dayton Public Schools has their fathers, their mothers, their aunts, their uncles, their grandmothers, their mentors, People that have walked the halls have been our mayors, our judges. That is what Dayton Public Schools is. So we want to move forward and show those kind of things. We want to let our people know that right now in Dayton Public Schools are our next future mayors, our next future teachers, our next future judges, our next leaders in our community are standing behind us now. And it won't always be with them participating in athletics. But I want to say the reason why we're doing this, if we can put it in 2 words, they deserve it. They deserve it. Our children deserve to have the best at everything. And this is not only what we're doing here, we're doing work around all of our athletic fields. We're improving those fields, the tracks at our schools, weight rooms at our schools. So we want our kids to participate in extracurricular activities. We want them to participate. We want them to learn the discipline that comes from these things, the camaraderie, the memories that you train up a child with. So that's why we're happy to have everybody here. And as a board, I'm happy to work with such a board that really looks forward for our children. And so some of the things that we're doing, I'm just super excited about. I can't wait. I hope everybody got to see some of those renderings. It's going to be a beautiful place. And at the end of this process, I can say right now, we will have the preeminent facility in Southwest Ohio. That is something that we can stand upon right now and say that's what we have. That's what our children will be able to go out and participate at. Our families can come here. If it's a drill team, they can be here. Cheerleading competitions be here. Color guard competitions be here. Class reunions be here. We want to make this a community space where our community comes out and they're proud to be at Welcome Stadium. This is a historic place. You can't go around Ohio and meet any track runner and them not say, I ran at Welcome Stadium. So we want to have those relays here. We want to have those people here. We want that to build momentum, not only just momentum for our district, but it's revenue. We want this to be a cash revenue generator for not only Dayton Public Schools, but it helps our city, it helps our region. So I'm just glad for everybody to be here. Please make sure you talk to somebody while you're here. That's one of the reasons why we're here, is to communicate and fellowship with each other. So please talk to everybody while you're here. I want to thank everybody that's played a part in this. We are DPS. And with that, I would like to call up to the podium someone who has spent many a year in Dayton Public Schools. And you can add a couple more minis. But our current mayor, Jeff Mims. Mayor Mims.
Good morning. Now that was good. He got you nice and tuned up for me. I appreciate that. You know, on behalf of my fellow commissioners, Gerald Fairchild, who is here, also a DPS grad and played football back in the day. Also Chris Shaw, Matt Joseph, and Shanice Turner-Sloss. You know, it is special for us as a city to support you to be here for this particular occasion. We all know very well that there are some key issues that identify the quality of life in every city. Education, recreation, and safety. And when we look at situations where we have a school system that decides that it wants to invest in its young people for their future, it says that they are doing the right thing. You know, for those who may not know, in terms of as we try to push to get more of our young people to move into careers, to move into to college, military, or any of the choices they decide to make based upon the preparation that they've gotten from Dayton Public Schools, we know that the #1 vehicle for going to college is athletic scholarships. Let me say it again for those who may not have heard me. The #1 vehicle for going to college, besides the GI Bill, is athletic scholarships. And I can speak personally from the aspect of my children, Corey and LaDon, who both attended and graduated from Dayton Public Schools, with the type of skills that allowed them to move to a space where they can make a positive contribution to the community. My son went to Howard on a soccer scholarship from Meadowdale, the Meadowdale High School. My daughter went to Hampton University on a golf scholarship from the Colonel White High School. Okay, the Colonel White High School. We got some other Colonel White alumni over here. And I measure their success in so many ways, and people have heard me speak before. You heard me say that I measure their success by the fact of the quality of education that they got in Dayton Public Schools, that they don't ask me for money anymore. You know, and so when you look at those type of situations, you say, okay, yeah, they did their job. You know, I have experiences here as well. as a person who ran 400, 200, 800 in track way back in the day. And it wasn't when you started Welcome Stadium. I didn't go back that far, okay? But great memories in terms of that. Also, I had the pleasure of being a coach. I coach track at Belmont High School, girls track, and also coach soccer at Belmont High School. And so there are a lot of days and nights out here on the track, weekends, doing the things that we need to do, and on the fields, rooting for teams to make sure that things happen. You know, it is so special to see so many of the young athletes who are here. And for those athletes, again, let's give them a hand. Raise your hand, athletes. Raise your hand. I know some of you in uniforms, okay? Now I also see some of the athletes who got a little gray hair. Some of you guys are back there. Wave your hands as well, because I've seen so many of you, because you guys were our foundation. You were our foundation in terms of making a lot of great things happen. And I know while President Smith mentioned some of the athletes that have come through here, I do want to give you a little trivia answer. The young man who played football at the Meadowdale High School, okay, the Meadowdale High School, you heard me say that, okay, was a person who also wound up being the first African American and the youngest general director for a NFL football team. Okay. That was Ricky Smith, who graduated in '87. Ricky Smith graduated from '87 and went to Purdue on a football scholarship, and then later was hired to be their coach, defensive back coach, and then defensive back coach at Purdue before going to the Houston Texans and working from that perspective. But you have such great legacy, those young people. And the responsibility for your grades, responsibility for your attitude, responsibility for your behavior, because we depend on you. And like I know back in the day, most of the athletes will attest to this, is that we also understood how to control the school. So if there are problems, a lot of times the principals went to the athletes and they went to the cheerleaders. They said, hey guys, we got something going on in school. We need you to help take care of this for me. And kids say, hey, we got you. We got you. So again, you are not just athletes, you're not just students, you are leaders in this community today and tomorrow and into the future. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. And again, the city of Dayton truly loves all the efforts that you're doing here in Dayton Public Schools. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I move forward with the rest of the program, Commissioner Fairchild, I'd like to introduce you. I didn't see you whenever we started out, and I know that Montgomery County Commissioner Debbie Lieberman is over here. Debbie, if you want to join us under the tent, we have a spot for you. Please feel free to do so. Okay. And did I miss any other city or county officials? Yes. Okay. Oh, Commissioner Turner Sloss, please come up. I didn't see you either. We've got a spot up here for you. It's in a tent. It's cool. Please join us if you feel like it. Thank you all for being here today. Again, we really appreciate it. Our next speaker is a very wonderful partner, has been a partner to the Dayton Public Schools Athletic Department and the Dayton Public Schools in general for many, many, many years. You see their name displayed around Welcome Stadium. We are very pleased to have a very strong partnership with the Kettering Health Network, and to say a few words is President Wally Sackett.
Kettering Health is honored to be part of visioning for the future. Charles F. Kettering was challenged by someone who yelled out, "Why do you spend so much time thinking about the future?" And he simply turned and he said, "Because that's where I plan to spend the rest of my life." And today we're thinking about the future because we're thinking about our students. Our students are the future innovators for Dayton. They are the future achievers. Kettering Health is proud and honored to have been a partner with Dayton Schools for the past decade. And we are proud of the students. We are proud that you're thinking about the future and the vision that's been laid out presents an opportunity for high achievement. Charles F. Kettering said, "High achievement always takes place in the framework of high expectations." We have high expectations for our students. We know that they are the future of Dayton, and we are so proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have 3 representatives from the University of Dayton, and as everyone knows, the University of Dayton Arena is there, and the University of Dayton plays on the Dayton Public Schools Welcome Stadium Field. So we have a partnership with the University of Dayton as well. And I'd like to introduce Neil Sullivan, who's the athletic director for the University of Dayton, and Scott DeBolt, who is always so helpful to us whenever we need to rent the UD Arena or do work together cooperatively back and forth between the 2 facilities. So thank you both for being here. I'd like to introduce to you the provost of the University of Dayton, Dr. Paul Benson.
Thanks very much, Superintendent Lally. It's great to see all of you here. It's a beautiful day in Dayton, Ohio, right? I really am honored to represent UD this morning at this momentous event. Unfortunately, President Eric Spina, who would have loved to be here, is in D.C. right now, and so couldn't be present. But I am joined by Neil and Scott, and I'm grateful for their presence. This project is going to be an extremely valuable opportunity for our young student athletes in the city, their families and friends. We're just so excited about the opportunities that the renovation of this stadium and the surrounding pieces of the project will mean, not only for Dayton Public Schools and its future, but frankly, for the city and its future. This is a prime location, as all of you are aware, right off I-75 along Edwin C. Moses Boulevard, and of course next to the premier college basketball venue in this country, UD Arena. I do want to applaud and thank Superintendent Lally, Athletics Director Victoria Jones, the leadership of Will Smith, and the Board of Education for Dayton Public Schools for their vision, their hard work on this plan. It takes a lot of hands to put together this kind of project, and the fact that they've been committed to it with all of their supporting partners in this way speaks volumes about the leadership of Dayton Public Schools. The University of Dayton is proud to have a long-standing, highly collaborative relationship with the DPS. We work hard to place student teachers here. We work hard to look for pathways to college and university education for students in the district. And I think it's just important to say that both of our organizations have deep fundamental interests in the flourishing of young people in this city. This is what we're about. This is what our mission directs us to do. Of course, as Superintendent Lally said, the Dayton Flyers have had a very special relationship with Welcome Stadium since we began competing here in 1974. The vision that this project represents truly is the single most important transformational moment in the nearly 50 years that UD has been partnering with Dayton Public Schools at Welcome Stadium. So we're very excited about the opportunities we have to continue and deepen that partnership. And we're truly celebrating what this vision will mean for the future of our city, and especially the flourishing of the young people here. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for your support, and let's applaud this project mightily as it moves to implementation. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Benson, for being here today as well, and President Sackett. We are now at the fun part of the day where we get to shovel some dirt. And the way that this is going to happen is we have groups of people that will be shoveling the dirt, and then a next group will come up as well. So the following groups of people need to move to the table, get a Dayton Public School hard hat, and meet me at the dirt pile over where the shovels are. So the first group include all the board members who are present and Executive Director Victoria Jones. Group number 2 includes Mayor Mims, Kettering Health Network, the University of Dayton personnel, and our county commissioners. City commissioners as well in that grouping. The third group includes all of our partners that are helping us with the project, Skanska, MSA, and Shook Construction, as well as Rick Rayford and Drew. And the group number 4 are for our student athletes and our student musicians. We'll take you by school, and you'll be able to shovel by school with your coach and or your director or your the supervisor that's with you today. So we'll kind of all move in that direction and watch the shoveling of the dirt. So. I'm going to go ahead and close out the morning. Many people have helped organize today's event. I'd like to thank Cherise Kidd and Sarita Brink for their ongoing work to make every event that we have a grand affair. Thank you to Victoria Jones, Mike Ogle, and the rest of the Welcome Stadium team who got this together for us. I'd like to thank Rick Rayford and Drew Mastrino and our operations team members and our custodial team members that were here setting up very early this morning. I'd like to thank our PIO team who's here filming this and making sure that this will be forever in our historical records. Thank you to our partners, Skanska, Shook, MSA, BSN, donated the baseball hats that many of you received, Kettering Health Network, and I'd like to thank the Board of Education, our coaches, our great students from Dayton Public Schools, our Navy JROTC, our young athletes from our miniature programs, our young programs, our feeder programs, and the jazz band from Thurgood Marshall High School. We have had a great celebration, and I'd like to thank everyone. We have some refreshments for our guest, our honored guest over here, the tent to my right. Please help yourself, and thank you so much for coming and being part of this historic event. Thank you.